The sun will not rise, the rain will not fall. Our Ceceyoal has shown us the way. Each day is a new chance for the icuac, unless we provide eztica. Ontlamiz.
This is a finished game experience of Dominions 5 as early Age Mictlan, the Reign of Blood, against 3 other AIs. Mictlan is a primitive nation with a wide access to magic and powerful priests. We do not fear the undead or demons. Our troops are weaker than other nations due to their ancient weapons and armor. However, we have access to powerful blessed troops with lots of mobility, but our dominion will not spread without sacrifice. Ceceyoal is our pretender god. As a Teotl of Night, she is one of the best assassins in the game, since she begins with beast bats in combat and Assassin 4. She will grant a powerful blood blessing to our troops in the form of +6 strength, and give us a powerful growth scale to our provinces, allowing blood hunting and slave gathering to go on longer. This portion of the world is where the life-giving oases in the jungle were born by the first god. They are known as cenotes. Enemies have come to claim this pinnacle of power for themselves. The sprawling forested landscape is dotted with deep cenotes that vibrate with power and life. And so begins our long crusade to claim the cenotes for ourselves. We begin with a single territory. We're going to build up 4 separate casters, all of our priests, to enable fast gathering of sites of power. Our beginning magic scale gives us access to Alteration, Evocation, Construction, and Blood Magic 1. We will want wastelands, forests, and mountains for their magic gems. They increase the amount of magic sites that are available. Meanwhile, we will harvest the plains for their blood, for they have high populations. We're going to start by getting all of our priests up and running, and recruiting vital jaguar warriors, which transform upon death and benefit greatly from increased strength. After that, we will recruit Nahuali for their ability to research. The vast majority of our army will be made up of slaves, gathered from our own provinces. This destroys a part of our population, but because of the growth scale, it should offset it. For research, we plan to grab enchantment, construction, and blood magic for quick access to demons and thug production. After some building, the main army is assembled, both for conquest and magical site exploration. In the wasteland beyond, we'll be facing some undead. I prepared an array of banishment spells and line positions to make sure that our casters do not get ambushed. We mostly incurred losses to our slaves, which is acceptable, easily generated troops. Our profit begins with a divine blessing, and we easily take out the cavalry, absorbing the charge with our slaves. Meanwhile, the jaguar warriors will mop up. Magic site searching in the wasteland pays off. We find 2 different magic sites there. Excellent. Our dominion will only spread through blood sacrifice, so we must get a priest and sacrifice. Our first enemy that we find is Archacephaly, to the north. Our next big conquest is in Flower Meadow. We prepared entanglement spells and offensive evocation spells. Fighting against lizard warriors can be tricky since they have tridents. Tridents have a longer length weapon, which means they can repel attacks and deal lethal damage even to our jaguar warriors. Luckily, with enough entanglement, we're able to absorb minimal losses, and victory is assured. Forests also have increased magic sites, and we find more than normal. My first defeat comes at the Barren Crags. It was a close call, but Cloud Mages delivered lethal lightning evocations to us and made us rout early. Our god Ceceyoal awakens, the leech, the lord of suffering, she who is of eternal night. This is what we're going to use to clear out commanders in vital locations using the assassin ability. Since she begins with beast bats also, her chances of killing someone automatically are going to be very high. She is our tool of warfare first. We return to the Barren Crags, and this time, victory will be ours. We have gifted the Hare, a powerful buff that gives our units double combat speed. Our Jaguar warriors will be able to leap quickly into combat and cut down everyone in their path with their obsidian blades. In the meantime, Ceceyoal will leap ahead and clear some commanders ahead of our main army. With Ceceyoal clearing out some of the early commanders, this will mean the Battle of Melma will go very quickly for us. We have minimal losses against heavy infantry, which is a good thing for Mictlan. To the west is our second enemy, Tian Chi. The forces of Mictlan amass again and take over even more territory in Durlin this time. The screaming mass of slaves and brutal werewolf cries of the Jaguar warriors terrify the barbarians. Ceceyoal assassinates a commander in the Old Lands before our army comes in for the killing blow. Our unending hordes of slaves absorb most of the losses, while the rest of our army mops up. It is year 1, late fall of the Ascension Wars. We have plans for another fortress in the Old Lands. Meanwhile, we'll continue to consolidate our forces and gather more magic gems to enter the sea to claim the Throne of Ascension. To the east, we meet our final enemy, the Xibalba, our ancient nemesis. Our first thug is a priest king. We give him a sword of swiftness, a horned helm, and a vine shield. Any who surround him will become entangled. He will also have 2 attacks from the sword of swiftness and 1 from the astral serpent, which has a death venom attached to it. The astral serpent attacks anyone that he does, and ignores their armor, inflicting 35 points of poison. It will be useful against all of our foes. Ceceyoal gets to work, bringing his brothers into war. It is summer, year 2 of the Ascension Wars. We have established our fortress in the old land. We are gathering water gems to be able to breach into the sea. To the south, we make our way into Xibalba territory. The Bat Lords will not see our fury coming, and they will provide eztica. Ceceyoal brings his brothers and slaves back into war, becoming a raider king. Ceceyoal is bestowed with blessings of water breathing and a sword of swiftness. Her mission is to assassinate all the commanders of the Throne of Ascension and to single-handedly take it. We now have 3 temples dedicated to providing eztica, sacrifices, so that the sun may have the strength to rise each day, and with its rays, spread our dominion. Ceceyoal has accomplished her mission. She has assassinated all of the commanders and could not find any others. Now it is up for the Sea Kings to take it and to scare away all the remaining forces. Our Sea Kings will lead the charge in the Sea Throne. I expect no resistance since we could not find any other commanders, but still, the province events might have replaced itself. To the south, our prophet sieges the fort in the Royal Forest, where Archacephaly and Xibalba are fighting it out. Inside the Royal Fortress, our Priest King faces steep competition and suffers heavy Jaguar warrior losses. However, he survives to fight another day. As you can see, it was the archers that did us in, suffering too many hits, and we have so little protection from our armor. But, on the other hand, we have a complete rout thanks to Ceceyoal's work in the ocean. Not a single loss due to destroying all of their commanders. So, with Ceceyoal out of commission for the moment, we must bring our true siege machine. An army of mages to summon living fire, and we claim the throne of the Second Age. With operations on the land going smooth, we begin to take over the first of the cenotes. It is winter, year 3 of the Ascension Wars, and our primary focus is to take the second throne in the Royal Forest. Our main army will approach to the south, bringing with them living fire to burn the enemies to ash. At the same time, we have plans to take the third throne through the sea using our sea troll army. I begin to gather blood slaves and blood priests for an enormous sacrifice. And I present to you the new war machine of Mictlan, fueled by demons, ozelotls, living fire to serve our very whims. They will be torn to pieces and then burnt to ashes for the glory of Mictlan. To the north, our sea kings gather. Having constructed a laboratory in the cenote, they call to their brethren from the deeps to aid them, doubling their numbers. At the range of light, the Tian-Chi bring their warriors to bear. Dispossessed, undead, and lots of archers, but our army is massive, contains our ozelotl warriors. They are no match. And so our army came to the south to face our enemies, where we had failed before, and siege the Royal Forest Fortress, and we are successful. However, Xibalba has been busy working and captured some of our territory. We cannot afford our troops, so we must pillage the Royal Forest. And here is Xibalba's handiwork, coming close to Mictlan. They dare insult us standing at our gates. Teotl claims our second throne. The Sea Kings make quick work of the fort at Terrace Peaks. However, it is not without losses. And Xibalba threatens us, taking one of our old forts. We were able to stave off our troops deserting us by pillaging the Royal Forest. However, we don't get as much as we need from it, and there is a lot of bloodshed. we shall build a memorial from their skulls. All glory to Ceceyoal. We are at a critical junction in our strategy. We need to split our army to defend our home from the Shabalban enemy. So, we split off from the royal forest. To the north, Ceceyoal claims our third throne. The final throne rests on an island in the middle of the cenote. I plan to try to take it with Ceceyoal alone. If that fails, we'll have to take it with the Sea Kings and bring him back. It's a gamble, but I'm ready to roll the skull dice. Back at the capital, we must defend against the Shabalban threat. They have numbers on their side, so we will supplement our forces with province defense. Back to the south, Tianqi closes in with a huge army on the royal forest. I believe our defenses are proper. We have enough province defense to help us, and our forces are still superior. Xibalba tries to push in on Avaca, but we hold firm and defeat all 88 of their army. Ceceyoal carefully investigates the island, and it's free of the enemy, but there's a very strong province defense. We'll try to assassinate any commanders we can, but unfortunately he does not find any. It's time to roll the skull dice and see if he can fight on his own. The plan is simple. He'll cast skeletal defense on himself, giving him pierce resistance, and then he'll attack the rear. Once he kills the commanders, that should provide an early rout. Unfortunately, it seems our Teotl is beaten. Let's take a look. Even though he had pierce resistance, it looks like archers take him down, and our plan would have succeeded. Their commanders were right there. So, we'll begin the process of calling him back. And so after a few months, Ceceyoal, the Leech, the Lord of Suffering, has risen from the dead in order to kill more heathens. During Ceceyoal's absence, the Sea Kings have carved a path across the cenote and taken the tiny island. Now they just need to hold it until he returns. Xibalba closes in, trying to get a siege to go on Mictlan, but we're determined to break it. We craft the boots of 7-mile strides for Ceceyoal so that he may fly far. Unfortunately, we fail to break the siege. Our forces are beaten back by Xibalba. They are one step closer to the gates of Mictlan. But we did destroy 186 of their forces. That's half of their army. Ceceyoal only needs 2 more turns to make a claim on the throne. One thing I did not know was that Ceceyoal could not fly to the island, so we'll have to craft him a ring of water breathing. So, we have a detour. He'll fly to the laboratory where the other throne of ascension is and pick that up, and then fly back. Ceceyoal makes the long journey to get the ring, equips it, and has only 1 more turn to fly back. As if sensing their imminent defeat, Xibalba strikes all over the map, trying to gain purchase. But they fail. Our defenses hold strong. The sun smiles on us. Ceceyoal makes the long flight back. And with that, we claim the last throne of Ascension. We reign supreme and are the Pentocrator. Our enemies are cast down, broken, dead, enslaved, or imprisoned.
Ceceyoal is the sole author of fate. We summon the tides, dictate the seasons, give or withhold fortune and life, light up the sun at dawn and quench its fires at dusk. All move according to our will. Endless aeons pass. But then, at some unknowable time, there is a change. Something stirs in the void. We perceive something reminiscent of ancient longings and doubts you thought forgotten. Perhaps suggestive of a sight unseen or a tune unheard. What is this thing, this longing, this faraway fleeting enigma? We lift our presence from the world, ascend from the thrones, and rush into the void. Racing after that receding, beckoning something. Borne on wings of absolute authority, we race further and further away, chasing that sole thing that we do not understand. Still further away, leaving the world behind, we become a fleeting memory, a distant dream, a tune unheard, a sight unseen.